Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Round 6 review after the Carlton Football Club get a good win on the board. A demolition job, in fact. 24 goals, 9, 153 to 11 goals, 5, 71. That was it. Absolute beatdown of the Kangaroos in the Good Friday Super Clash. Oh, man. It was a good day at the footy, to be honest. It was a good, enjoyable day at the footy. Haven't had too many experiences like that in the last, 15 or 16 games. It's been a while. It's been a while since I've gone to the footy and we've seen a consistent performance and a beatdown. And, that's not going to happen every week. Well aware of that. But it was pleasing that it did happen. And to be honest, I didn't expect anything like that yesterday. I went into the game thinking it's the closest I have felt to North Melbourne in a matchup against them in a while. And I was pretty confident and expecting the win, but not by that sort of margin and not with that sort of dominance. I think North have improved and they've evolved over the last period of time. And they've got there can be a reputation that they're young and, they're slight, but their midfield they've got some brutes in there. Big Ruck, LDU, Simpkin. They've got guys in there that are pretty solid at what they do in the midfield. And so that was always going to be an interesting battle. And I thought that they had some confidence going in. I chatted to Marnie from Kanga TV throughout the week, and the sentiment from her and I guess from North Melbourne fans was that they looked at this as a bit of a coin flip game, which, if I'm honest, I was like, oh, really? Like, I wanted to be confident that that wasn't the case, but with the Blues this year, it's just been tricky to be confident, particularly after the way it's all started and the hole that they found themselves in. And so I wasn't sure how to read the game, and maybe that's great. I think that's a good thing. I'm not meant to know. We're not meant to know how it's going to go. We're not meant to be confident. We're meant to be humble. And maybe that's the silver lining from what's happened over the start of the season. It's just leveled out expectations. And so I did really enjoy that game. It was obviously the Good Friday match, the Super Clash. And so, on a day like that and on a night like that, it becomes a lot more than footy. And you get to shine a light on the children that go through what they go through, who, I think as Paul Sebastiani said it last night on the fan cams, they're innocent. So great cause, great performance, and, smiles all round. Smiles at the footy. The first quarter was brilliant. North dialed it up early in the piece. Carlton kicked 7 goals, 3 in the first quarter, 31 points from stoppage. It was all clicking. The intensity around the ball was outstanding. Charlie Curnow, I don't know if this looked like it on screen, but I was at the game. His work rate for the 4 quarters was very impressive. I don't know if that's going to be highlighted this week, but he looked very engaged. Hewitt continues to be on this run of form, which is, at the AFL level. Forget about being Carlton's best player for a moment. He's one of the best players in the league right now, the way he's playing. Good contribution from Adam Chera as well. The way in which the ball was moving, it's improving. It looks like it's improving. The lowering of the eyes, the composure, the poise, the timing of the overlap running seems to be getting better. So, yeah, I think I was pretty calm early in the piece, and I felt that in the crowd as well. And they were activated, and I want to give a shout out to the cheer squad as well. I heard 3 or 4 different chants that I had not heard before. There was a bit of creativity in there. I think the cheer squad can be an easy target at times when things are not going well, and amongst the community and the fan base, it's like, oh, what are the cheer squad doing? Well, mate, they've been fantastic all year, considering how tough it's been. And also just to highlight the work that they did with the fundraising efforts this week or over the last few weeks for the Good Friday appeal and the Cheer Squad raffle. So just a fantastic effort all around. And so, yeah, second quarter, North bite back a little bit. I wasn't too concerned, but the reality was, we'd blown the lead out to 40, and then it got to 20 at halftime. So naturally, you get to halftime, you're thinking, okay, well, we've seen this before. Dominant first half with a little bit of a slip towards the back end of the second quarter. What's it going to mean for the third quarter? But yeah, third quarter comes around. Really great passage of play. Adam Chera finds Charlie Curnow on the lead. And then Charlie Curnow finds Adam Chera, who, ran forward and found some space and ends up kicking the goal. And I think that's the other part about round 6 that was a highlight. I mean, the intensity was consistent for the 4 quarters. The pressure and the selflessness was also a feature. And we saw a bit of it last week. And it was hard to highlight it last week because a lot of people didn't want to look at, it's just West Coast. But I think we get caught up in that because at the end of the day, you've still got to do the thing. If it was just West Coast and if it was just North Melbourne, then why wasn't it just Richmond? So you still got to go out and do the thing that you got to do. And I thought the selfless nature yesterday was a highlight of the day. And I think it creates energy. And I saw a lot more, blocking for Charlie. I think it was important, Durds, Zach Williams, at every moment that I watched in that forward line, they would block for Charlie and they would create space for somebody else. That there was a passage of play in the third quarter. Will White sort of makes a mistake in our forward 50, but then follows it up. He pins, I can't remember who it was, kicks his first and makes up for it. And I just saw the support from the teammates, which wasn't something that was a highlight in the first part of the season. And when things aren't going your way, sometimes you can go into your shell. So I thought that was a pleasing sign. Speaking of Will White, from that moment, he activated. He found confidence, and then you started to see him express himself out there on the field. And I think a few of them were like that. I think Jesse Motlop had a very similar game. I think he's been working hard over the last few weeks. For some reason, there's a narrative that's starting to build out there. I don't know where it's coming from, but it's starting to get a little nasty and personal to him. And it's just stupid. And you're fucking losers if you're doing it. Critique the performance, not the man. And he's been working at it, and the pressure's been there. His endeavour is there. And I think he just needed to see a goal just to light up, and then finally he breaks through, and then before you know it, he's kicked 3. And I think it is important to see the ball come off the boot and go through the sticks for some of these players, or the ball come off the boot and hit targets a couple of times, because it builds confidence. And so I thought it was a good sign from Will White. Jesse, I think Zach then had his moments as well. He kicked 2 in a row, and then you start seeing the energy really fly. Corey Durden had kicked his 2 early in the piece, including a mark. I don't think we'll ever see Corey Durden fly that high. That was quite some mark and some goal. And so we get to the third. We found the dominance again, back to the 40-point margin. There was a moment in the third quarter. I promise you I'm not making this up. And I'm not lying about this. So there was a gentleman 3 or 4 rows in front of me. And at this point, Carlton's blown the lead back out to 40 odd. Can't remember what it was. But it was towards the back end of the third quarter. And this man pulls out his phone and starts watching the 1999. He was a North Melbourne supporter. And he starts watching the 1999 grand final on his phone. Like, I wanted to take a photo and a video of it, but also that's weird. Like, I don't like that people doing that. Oh, it was so funny. And like, he had checked out, poor fella. He just wanted to feel good again. I know what that's like, so fair play to him. And then before you know it, he's watching he was watching the horse races. He's putting bets on. Like, he just didn't want to be there, the poor lad. The Blues are up by 50 at 3/4 time. And I think for Carlton, when we've seen them get out to a solid lead, the question's always been, can you really dial it up, and can you really put the foot down and get on with it? And they did. They absolutely did. Fourth quarter. I mean, North kicked the first 2 of the fourth in quick succession. And then A Corey Durden tackle in the fourth after that sets up the Charlie Curnow goal, and then it just exploded from there. I mean, Cooper Lord comes on, kicks 2 goals, gets in on the action. We had 12 individual goal kickers. The pressure side of the game was incredible. It was like 83 tackles for the Blues, considering we dominated them and won the ball first to it. We broke North Melbourne's spirit, like even in the crowd. I mean, the North fans were up for it. They were engaged. They were chanting bullshit when calls didn't go their way. A bit sooky at times, I thought. There was a bit of an entitlement with the North fans, I thought, at times. And then the margin blew out to such a point where it broke them, and I could sense it. But look, I think North will be fine. I just, it's tough. It's tough when rebuilding and regenerating, and I'm not trying to be cocky and disrespectful and dismissive, but it's tough. It's tough when your team's not doing well, and it hasn't been doing well for a while. But look, yesterday was all about Carlton, and all about the smiles, and all about the kids, and the good vibes. There was some real positive energy that came out of yesterday, and at the end of the day, can't sit here and talk about 0-4. I mean, it's 2-4 now. What needed to happen after the whole has happened. 2 solid wins, convincing wins, percentage boosting wins. I think we have the greatest percentage outside the 8 at the moment, so maybe that's a positive sign. I don't know. But now we have a nice 9-day break. There's an open training session, I believe, on Wednesday. So if you're around, let's get there. Let's build some more energy. And, I found I don't usually get to see the besties after the game for their post-game wandering, because usually I'm going straight home. But I actually hung around for a couple of renditions of the song. And, I was on the wandering and had my thoughts. My immediate post-game thoughts, I was excited, and I was like, we're back. And I was like, oh, we're not back, but if we beat Geelong next week, fucking turn this thing on and we just ignite it, and it just starts. And I think one of the fears I had after the start of the season was, oh, we're not even going to get on a run. It's just bad, negative, sad, anger, sack him, that kind of energy. And it's like, oh, I don't want that. I don't want to be mad. I don't want to be sacking everyone every week. I want to ride the wave forward, upwards. We're ready to contend. That's the kind of experience that I'm hoping for this year. So still got a long way to go. I'm under no illusions. But it does give me a bit of hope going into next week. And yeah, like I said, I actually stood there after the game, the siren went. I just sat there and just took a deep breath. I was like, oh, okay. Sung the song. The whole family was there. Mum and dad came, brother, sister, brother-in-law. It was beautiful. It was a great day. It was a joyful day at the footy. And, no one's entitled to a joyful day at the footy. So I am aware of that. Just because we want things to go well doesn't mean that they're going to go well. But to get it a joyful day at the footy, a dominant display, entertaining, happy day is, you just got to take them where you can get them, because they're not guaranteed. And I think also yesterday, with the Good Friday appeal and with what the game represented, it also does remind you that there's always someone out there who is less fortunate than you, and that's an important perspective. And so, look, good vibes, smiles, confidence. The team looks like it's finding some confidence in their performance and in each other, and they're looking at each other again. And that's what is needed to go up against Geelong. You have to go into Geelong with confidence. You can't go into Geelong out of form. I think there's a great level of respect for the opposition that we're about to face over the next month or so. And the opposition's been in form. So I am bullish. Anything's possible in footy. Anything's possible in life. So I'm bullish about what can happen. I'm more hopeful than anything, but yeah, if there's optimism to be found, I will take it. I will try and take it where I can. But what about you and your experience? Detail below what is that win? Well, how did you experience that win? I asked a lot of people on the fan cams, what did you expect pre-game, just to get a sense of where the respect for North Melbourne was. And so when you see a result like that, what did it do for your expectations pre-game, and where did that match up? And just share some thoughts below about your day, your experience, the performance, and whether or not you're ready to believe that we'll beat the Cats next week. Chat to you then. Go Blues.